It is important for men to assess the attractiveness of the woman. It's a little less important that the man knows that she has all these friends or all that kind of stuff, right?
I think those results are very, very positive. I probably, I actually don't think there's, anything that needs to be changed, because from how I see it is that, with 62%, online you're always a little bit more skeptical, and you should be. You should take everything with a pinch of salt, right? So 62% said yes to meeting this person before they met them. But you know how when you've spoken to someone online before, when you eventually meet this person, first you confirm that he's okay. He's more or less what he says he is, all right, or she, and you kind of have this sense that you know this person. I mean, it's not true. You've only met him online and spoken to him for maybe a week, but there is already a certain comfort level. So by the time you meet, obviously you're a little bit like more. It's more relief. Like, oh, okay, yeah, this is how he looks. Okay, he's not too far off, and therefore, so I think that's good. I think that's the reason why there's that increase. It may not be because their profile is that bad, but it's just that you just feel more comfortable already.
What do you think? How do you think social media has enhanced the dating process, the dating game, so to speak? This is an open question, so anyone can jump in.
Well, first of all, I think that social media like Facebook and so on, LinkedIn, whatever it is the first thing my friends do after they met a girl in a bar is they ask for her name, and then straight into Facebook. They go to the toilet, they pick up their smartphone, and they speak. Just to check it out. So the social media has made it more transparent to spy on people, to get a better picture of who they are. And that might be good, and it might be bad. But during your days, when there was only forums and there was no pictures, then you had to rely on instinct and so on. But now it's just like David said. If you walk into a wall post and the guy says, my life sucks, I only see darkness, and then you're going to be, oh God, So I think it has opened a new dimension for people to actually get a better understanding of their potential mates.
Yeah, so there's more accountability, but there's more anonymity as well. Like one thing that I've noticed is that Facebook and other social media have helped a certain type of guy. Is the guy who likes to hit on girls who are in relationships. So he just sends out little friends things, and these are things where the girl doesn't even have to meet him in person, but he's on her friends list. And then over several months or a year, she breaks up with the boyfriend, or gets divorced, and he's still in the picture. And he didn't even have to meet her, ever. And that's how you can stay in the picture. And guys, I know, just carpet bomb these girls who are just really attractive, but even if they're in a relationship, Facebook is a really easy way of staying in touch. And it works for you, here's the other thing, it works for you passively. So whereas if you had to go meet people, you'd have to actually go in person. Whereas if you upload some great travel albums with lots of friends and you look really attractive in many ways, that will work for you 24 hours a day while you're sleeping. People can go and check it out. So it's a really great way of building passive value and presenting it. So there's an upside and there's a downside.
You could treat it as spam, right? I mean, the people who are saying carpet bomb women.
The thing is, women who are in a relationship, sometimes they lack the male attention, they miss it. And so all they get is like a guy saying, wow, that was a great photo. And they're like, oh, that makes me feel nice. Guys are afraid to compliment me now because I'm married, and they're afraid of it, especially in Asia where it's more conservative. Whereas they get these nice little pings of, hey, that feels good. And they're just friends. The guy's not hitting on her, he's just being a good friend. He's there for her when she has problems. And then can stay in the picture. Whereas offline is much more difficult.
So yes, and as David says, there are upsides and downsides. The downsides is that I have a lot of friends that say that they get spammed by guys on Facebook, and in your case they're pretty smart because it's pretty subtle to just add a friend, and you do it with 100, 10 of them answers, and then you stay there in the background. But in my head that's pretty creepy, huh? But
I'm not recommending that, just so we know.
No.
That's a downside, example of a downside.
but a lot of my friends says that when people just adds you on Facebook out of the blue, even if you even if they have a picture and so on, have wall posts and so on, you don't know who the person is, and to let him into your private Facebook life, because that is your online digital identity today. Your Facebook identity reflects who you are in the offline world. Just like David says, you put up all the pictures where you go traveling and so on, that tells you something about yourself. So people do get spammed with messages, especially girls from guys saying that, oh, you're so hot with the pictures and so on and so on. And even now you can see how the privacy levels on Facebook has gone from being open, and now almost everybody has privacy settings saying that nobody can add me. She has 2 accounts even, because people are trying to add her all the time. I mean, it is bad in a way.
You kind of have to take control of it yourself, and what do you want out of this, right? Because Facebook and online dating mechanisms basically speed up the process, every process, right? So in the beginning especially, you have access to just a lot of people, a lot of potential mates, friends, or whatever have you, and you have a lot to choose from, and so do they. And you can get to know people relatively easily and anonymously, right? But once you're in a relationship, if that's what you want, a good, stable, long-term relationship, you're going to have to be a little careful. Your mate might still be out there flirting with hundreds of other people. You never know. And then, so relationships, actually, they're finding that start online, they end quicker. Because people are probably still using that kind of a forum, and then.
I suppose there's a difference with the explosion of social media. When for example, when I met my husband on the forum, we focus on each other. We were just writing to, maybe at the beginning, during the forum when you post something, you might get a few posts, but they kind of trickle off, and in the end, you end up with you just focusing on. I connect with this one person, and I just keep writing to this person, and then after that you send photos, and then you meet, right? Whereas for Facebook, it's like you suddenly have all these options, and it can be very distracting. And I suppose, if you're really looking for a long-term mate, the last thing you want is unless you want, you're okay with being on programs like The Bachelor where he gets kissed like 10 girls before he chooses you. I think most girls, yeah. So, that's the good and bad. I think it's great that you have options, but options can work against you as well if it confuses you, and there are people who get very confused with options. So like you said, you gotta kind of know what you want and what you're looking for, and you need to know when to drop all these so-called options and focus on the one that you think has potential, and that can be quite tough because we live in a rather flaky world, unfortunately.
Do you think that's one of the downsides of social media, that because it gives people so many options, it kind of drags out the courtship phase a bit more? Because I guess people are always like, oh, could I do better? What if a better profile comes along? What are your thoughts on that?
There's a little bit of research showing that the courtship phase is actually sped up now. But the commitment is, the long-term serious commitment is degraded, is less stable now.
As in the duration of the relationship.
Right, and largely because people do have more options. Even if you shut your Facebook account down or just refuse to look at it, that at your fingertips there are hundreds of people waiting to meet you and talk to you and like your recent post and whatnot.
There was a recent New York Times article last month. I'm not sure if you've read it. It's called "The End of Courtship," and basically the author is talking about how because of the prominence of social media and technology, people are forgetting how to court each other. In the past, if you liked someone, you would actually have to pick up the courage, pick up the telephone, call her out, and bring her out on a date to get to know her better. But the author's point is that these days you can just text, you can Facebook, you can WhatsApp. And it's what he calls a very hyper-casual sort of relationship. It's very touch and go, and people, as a result, are forgetting how to date. How to plan a proper date, how to court a woman, and vice versa. What are your thoughts on that, David, as a dating coach?
Yeah, I think that helps people who have short-term mating strategies. So if they're just looking to hook up, it's actually a positive turn for them because they don't have to invest much. to get that meet. And it's actually, for most women, they want to have a long-term relationship. So this is a bad development for them. So they need to be more careful overall.
Drug Facebooking.
No, I agree. I mean, before, I mean, the minute when people started texting a lot, and I know of friends, even I went through when, you know, you date a guy, maybe you see him like once or twice, and you think, oh, he's kind of nice, and you think that you've got something going, but all he does is he texts you. He never asks you out. and you're like, ask me out, you know, and you just become so reliant on, you know, Facebooking or emailing and stuff, and it can really work against you. So guys, ask her out. Don't just keep texting. At some point, you gotta go out, meet, and court.
It's possible though that this guy is texting about 10 other women, and so he doesn't have the time to ask each one of them out.
Alexander, it goes back to what you were saying earlier about, we were talking about how you can't have a relationship on social media. I mean, at a certain point, it has to translate to the real world. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Sorry, I didn't follow you on that.
No, okay. Basically, Maddie was saying, you know, at a certain point, the guy has to ask the girl out, because what she's saying is that there are some guys and girls who engage in this prolonged back and forth WhatsApp, you know, conversation without actually taking any step forward.
Yes, and as I said, I've had experiences with that where you just keep on texting, and because I've been using online dating for 10 years, so I've been through one or two different scenarios. And my suggestion is, I completely agree, you have to ask them out. I'm not saying that you should write a message saying, hi, do you want to go out? But of course you can start a conversation with them, and you can ask them, because for every person there is some important things that you have in life that you can answer, that you can ask the person and see what they answer, and you will get a fairly good assumption of who they are and so on. But I think you should meet offline, because, and as you said, you need to decide what you want to do. If you're there to flirt and to get as many women as possible, then just bombard away. Just shoot to everyone, shoot blanks. But once you've decided that I want to have a relationship, then ask the right questions, try and meet offline as soon as possible, so that you can present yourself in a proper manner, because you will never be able to do so in an online manner. You will get misunderstandings and so on.
We have about 10 minutes left. AKA Asia has actually put together a little slideshow of Facebook impression management. It's a little activity we're going to play now about what your Facebook profile picture says about you. I mean, the examples are very Facebook related, but I do think that a lot of people, when they sign up for dating websites, they do tend to use photos like these as well. Some of them even use their Facebook profile pictures. So here's one, I suppose, genre of Facebook picture that's pretty common, party pictures. And I just like to ask the panelists, you know, could you please do an analysis of the pictures here? And if you were a person who was thinking of dating these people in the picture, what would you think? I mean, what sort of impressions would you get?
Left side, I'm carefree, want to have fun. Right side, I want to get laid tonight.
Definitely. I mean, when I look at those pictures, I will have I would hesitate a lot. And even when I'm putting pictures out there, I'm thinking, if let's just say I was single and I was looking, like if I'm looking for a serious relationship, those are probably the last pictures I put out, because you send out the wrong message.
Well, I think the left and the right are kind of different. So Norm was like, the left one is I'm fun, I'm carefree, and that's not a bad thing. I think it's good to have friends and have fun. But the one on the right is a specific type of fun. Right, so that's setting a specific type of message.
Right.
Target.
Yeah, I think the left one I'm okay, except if you're in the blue shirt. Then I would be a little bit scared. But the right one clearly tells me the guy is, look at me, I can get all these girls, and I have these bottles of champagne, and the girl says, look at me, I'm all this, you know. The right one, no. As a guy, and looking at that, I would say that would not be anyone I would talk to for a long-term relationship. That would, in that case, would be, hey, you want to go out and party one night? I have a bottle of Dome.
How about photos. How about these? They're sort of at party settings as well, but not as bad as the previous one. I mean, what would be your take on these?
Yeah, again, I think this is, the one on the left definitely is just fun, playful. Obviously, if you have something, if you judge people who go to clubs, then this is obviously not going to appeal to that type of person. On the one on the right, the dude looks very happy because he's surrounded by girls. So that's not such a great image to portray if you're trying to get into a long-term relationship with a woman. Then again, it does make it more attractive just by having women around you.
Right. I think that's the main difference. I mean, they're both profile pictures of guys. It's just the gender of the people they're surrounded by, whether that makes any sort of difference.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, not a lot, but there's been some research done on this. For the picture on the right, they actually, yeah, if you're a guy and you're pictured with attractive women, women find you more attractive. And then if those attractive women look like they're into you somehow, they're going to find you even more attractive.
Yeah, I think the problem with it is the pose. The dude looks way too self-satisfied there. He was being casual about it.
Right. He's acting like he's too lucky to have this.
Yes, right.
What if it were a girl in the middle, surrounded by many guys? Would that make a difference?
Again, so if she looks self-satisfied, this is going to be bad. But if it's just like, hey, I have a lot of friends, I think for guys, they get intimidated pretty easily. And it signals there's going to be a lot of competition, and he's going to have to really work for this, and that'll scare off quite a few men.
And I think it would scare off the girls too, because we'll look at that picture and go, he's a player. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing else to form the impression except those photos. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I would think.
It looks like this guy has a sister and she brought her friends. Rather than a player.
Okay, this is, okay, so now it's girls, with a group of girls versus a group of guys. So we talked about this earlier. But what about, picture of a girl with her girlfriends? What do you guys think of that?
What do girls think about girls with groups of girls?
Well, for me, if I was hoping to snag a date, I probably wouldn't put my girlfriends around me unless I know for sure that I'm the prettiest of the lot. I think it's only because, I mean, even when I look at a group of guy friends, right? And then, okay, you know that this is a guy who's messaging you, so you go on his Facebook page and you look at him and he has all these friends who are more attractive than him. I'm sorry, but based on nothing, you would go, oh, why didn't his friend message me instead? So, I mean, wouldn't guys think that way? And it's okay to.
Yeah, here's something interesting. If it's in a runway situation where there's one person after the other, then you'd be in a competitive, you'd be comparing them. But if you kind of lump people in and they look like they're part of a unit, a girl who's with other very attractive women actually magnifies the effect.
I think potentially what's going on is subconsciously the guys are thinking, look, if I strike out with her, she's got a lot of pretty friends too.
Yeah, there's more options
More
there.
chances, yeah.
So that's not good, right? I mean, that would work against you if you're.
Well, against you personally, possibly, but he'll still want to get to know you. Right? One way or the other.
Okay, that's how guys think. I mean, for me and from the girls that I know, and I hope we're not too weird, is that, you would look at it and like I said, you'd be like, oh, but he's cuter, why did he message me? So, I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
Well, I think that everybody has their own different you interpret all the pictures differently because we're all different individuals. So the picture to the right might be she's a lesbian because she's only with guys. The one to the left might be, I don't know. So all I'm saying is that it's really hard to interpret pictures. It's just fun to look at them, but yeah, it's going to be very hard.
Have a variety. I think that's the safest way to go. So you don't always look like you're only with girls or you're only surrounded by guys or whatever. But if you have a variety of photos, it shows that you're kind of versatile and you're a normal person in different situations.
I know a lot of guys who say, and tell me if I'm wrong, my guy friends tell me that they love pictures of healthy looking girls. So, like, sporty, and I think for women it's the same, it's kind of nice to see, like, in a guy, like, in a sporty kind of environment, and for girls as well, because you're always vibrant and, like in sports or in motion, or, is that true?
The research shows that it's actually even more important for women. That's the sportiness, the athletic build, and all that kind of stuff. It's more important for women. For guys, it's potential plus, like physical fitness. But guys do look for cues of youth and attractiveness and health as well.
Yeah, I can only speak for myself, unfortunately, and I would look at the shape, the form of the girl, and whether she does sports or not. I would say, well, good for you.
Well, a low-waisted hip ratio is a universal indicator of attractiveness.
And for men's shoulders to waist, shoulders to hip, so those are all universal. But like Norma said, just having a balanced portfolio of photos is a very good idea.
I mean, Alexander, you do an online dating app. What's usually your recommendation? I mean, because photos do create the first impression.
Yes, I recommend people to upload as many photos as they can and try to put up happy photos, because if you see a photo with a depressed girl, it's not very attractive. You could have a few group photos and so on. I don't said about variety. A mixture of pictures is good, but mostly where you can clearly see your face and who you are, because it's so hard. Well, we saw that women are not as good looking offline as they are online. So, and then I also tell them to meet as soon as possible, because pictures, it says 1,000 words, and those 1,000 words are different for every single person. So it means there's a lot of words.
Okay, and now we have very typical wall posts that you find on someone's Facebook wall. What do you think of these? I mean, okay, there's life event where you talk about whatever's happening in your life, like, oh, I just got a new best friend, I don't know, or lyrics, thinking out loud. I mean, what's your opinion on all of these things?
Well, that first event is a very good one. I think that's pretty attractive to all people, and it also shows. So it's an accomplishment. He or she graduated, and now is going to go diving. So that's all very good.
And what do you think of people? Because I personally know a lot of friends who put up song lyrics online, and sometimes they're really emotional song lyrics. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my friends, but I mean, what does it say about you?
Well, it says that music is a common interest. Everybody is looking for something that they have in common with, but I think that is actually not true. You don't have to have a lot of things in common. I have nothing in common with my girlfriend, absolutely nothing. But even Spotify, now many people won't know what that is because it hasn't launched yet, but it's an online music application where you can stream your music. Even they have an online dating application on Spotify where you actually find your mate based on what kind of music they like. So music is one of the pillars that could be interesting for people. I listen to everything, so I wouldn't care. But if you're a death metal rocker deeply into gothic stuff, then it might be easier for you if you find someone that actually likes that music well, because that might tell you that, well, somewhere inside there he might be a little bit similar to me.
And finally, we have people who post up news articles, 9gag photos, that's really common as well. And people who just, I guess, express their feelings out loud. I mean, if any of you had personal experiences with friends who do these, and what kind of impressions do you get of them?
Well, humor is one of those things that's universally attractive. So the more funny stuff you put on there, usually those are usually good things.
I agree with him. I mean, humor is big, for most people. I mean, particularly for women. I can speak for myself and all my friends. We all love a funny guy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's always very attractive. I think for news, it doesn't say a lot if you just post the news, but usually people post like, they share a piece of news and then they have an opinion about that, which I think is okay unless it becomes too angsty. And expressing your feelings, the thing is, it's okay every now and then, but there are some people who express their feelings like every 5 seconds or every 5 minutes, and that can be quite annoying. Like I would probably stay away from someone like that if they share, because I think when it comes to emotional feelings, emotions, some things are best kept to yourself.
Okay, I think we've ended at 12:10, so I think I will save the rest of the time for questions. Could everyone join me giving the panelists a round of applause, please, for your time? And maybe I'll open the floor now to any questions. If you have a question, could you just raise your hand, and I think Angie will pass the mic to you.
Hi. This question is for everyone. It's about whether it's acceptable to ask a girl out using Facebook or Twitter tweets or WhatsApp, or do you just have to resort to the traditional phone call to ask her out?
You want to do that first?
I think it's all fair game now. You can do anything you want. But I think a real man still picks up the phone or asks in person.
Yeah, I think it's kind of nice. I mean, obviously, if you met that person online first, then you have to start online by saying, hey, maybe can I call you out? Can I call you up and maybe we can meet up? And then from there you get the number, and it is actually really nice. It's a bit nervous, but it's that nice nervousness. Like if you like someone and someone's willing to give you the number, at least you kind of know that, okay, she's willing to give me the number, then she's likely to be willing to go out with me. And it's nice. I still remember the first time when my husband said, okay, give me a number and I'll give you a call. And you just have butterflies in the stomach, just waiting for that phone. Like, what's he gonna sound like? You imagine his voice to be of a certain way, and I think it's exciting. I mean, that's what courtship. I mean, it's part of the courtship, and it's part of the excitement. But it is definitely very nice. It shows, I suppose, some sort of courage and manliness when you're willing to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, this is me. What do you think? Would you like to go out?" So it's nice.
I think we have a question. Yes. Lady.
Yep. Hi, my name is Cohen. Not so much of a question, but I just want to get something off my chest regarding the photograph interpretation. I thought the psychology of it is such that the second or third most attractive girl or pretty girl, so to speak, on the photograph would be attractive to me, because I think that lady is willing to be supportive of her friends, and she's comfortable in her own skin without having to need to really put on heavy makeup and be the star of the show. And I think such a lady will be more attractive to me as a man. Thank you.
That's a good point. Thinking long term.
Yeah, I have to say that I really respect that, and sometimes it's when you've seen enough of people who don't see deeper, and I think that really is, being able to see deeper, which sometimes we probably don't have enough faith in people to see deeper than that, but you're absolutely right in that aspect.
Plus that person is more attainable.
Yeah, and it's very heartening, because really, I think we won't be in the state we're in if there were more men like you.
We have a question from the front.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Men's Health. What's your take on having photos with your ex on Facebook?
Are you directing this to a specific person?
Do you have a girlfriend right now? Like with a girlfriend, and then you put your ex's photos on Facebook?
Yes, but is it what do you think?
Well, let me put it
Is
this
the
way.
best
Is the
way.
person in a relationship currently while putting photos of the ex on the
No,
profile?
it's already there. If that person is going to want to find another partner,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
Should-
keep them
should
up.
it- yeah.
The studies have shown that if you're in a relationship, it shows that you have some emotional maturity. You have, you're more mature, and that's a good thing. Unless you're having photos of the two of you fighting or something, but generally speaking, if they're positive photos, keep them up. It's part of your history.
The lady in front. Can we pass the mic to her?
Hi. So, in terms of online dating business, I'm actually curious about the culture in Asia, because in Asia people are very conservative or more tend to be more shy. So, like, how do you find the success on online dating business? Is it more successful in Asia or in other way around?
Okay, there's a very easy answer to that question. Online dating is multi-billion-dollar industry. It's so many billions of dollars, and all those billions are made in the West. Because of the reason that here in Asia we find it harder to acquire users. For every user that I acquire into my dating application, it costs me money. I mean, in order for me to present dates to you, I have to pay. I have to pay for these users. It costs me for every single user. That is why we have to charge a certain amount of money from our users to use our services. And the cost of getting users in Asia is higher than the cost of getting users in the West. Because in the West, people are much more open to online dating and the social media environment, and just say that, yeah, I met this guy on an online dating site. As in where in Asia, people are much more conservative, and they'd rather approach someone like David or a matchmaking expert, and that will present them with an option of 10 real people. But however, we can also see that the online dating is increasing. I mean, we have, in my application, I have about 8,000 people now here in Singapore, and so it is increasing, and people have sent us emails saying that thank you very much, we met the love of our life, and then they've left the application and so on. So it is working, and globally in the West, I think that 1 out of 5 people, that is 20%, actually meet online and start a relationship. That is facts, but I don't have the facts for Asia, but I can see with my own eyes and with my own application that it is much more costful to get one user inside the app, and people are a little bit more careful here. They're much more conservative, yes, they are. But the people who do get on are good. Well, since I'm a Facebook application, the reason why I build a Facebook application is because in the real world, more than 70% meets through their friends or connections or networks. If I go into a bar and I see a friend, I walk up to him and I say, "Hi David, how are you doing?" And he's standing with 2 girls. Maybe 3 months later, I'll be dating one of those girls, and 6 months later, I'll be marrying her, although I only met him once. It's easier to meet people through your existing connections. So what I did is, until now, it's basically not impossible, but now Facebook has opened the door so much that I built a Facebook application where I can go inside and I can actually see all my friends' friends, and I can date people I have common friends with. So instead of sending someone a message saying, "Hi, what's your name?" then I can say, "Oh, I see that you know Daniel, David, and Richard," and then I can upload a picture with me and Daniel on the picture. That's a more nicer way of approaching someone. So since I'm on Facebook and I'm connected to the whole social media graph, that means that I reach out through ads on Facebook and through my Facebook page and through advertisements through the mobile, since I have an iPhone app, an Android app, so you get ads in the mobile in your news feed saying that you can join the app, and your friends have joined it, and go in and recommend your friends that are single and so on. So
Before you said you need to put some cost to get more users?
Yes.
Like how does it work?
Well, for every, so let's say that I want to have 1,000 users in Singapore. Then I go to Facebook and I say, "Facebook, hi, I would like to advertise on your platform." And they tell me, "Sure, this is how much it's going to